Ready or not, once again on Steam Deck, thanks to Void Interactive for providing a code of the game and the DLC. So this, I tried it multiple times on Steam Deck, and my main issue with it was the gamepad support. It had no gamepad support, but with a patch now, they actually implemented it natively. So now if you go to the controller, make sure to choose on the templates, gamepad with mouse trackpad. I think just having this here, I'm hitting X, you'll get it. So now the game actually supports gamepad entirely without doing any manual tweaks like before, thank God. Hit play on the game, you'll be greeted with this drop-down menu. My advice is to choose the X12 over the X11. The X12 uses a bit more GPU and VRAM, but it stutters less than the X11, although the X11 now got a bit better. But in general, I found it to be more stable. The X11 was way more CPU limited in bigger levels, so again, my advice is to use the X12 on this one. Welcome to the options menu. First things first, the resolution that is going to choose for you will be 800p, just by choosing full screen. There's no resolution in this menu. And the first thing I would do is on the UI scale, put it at least 120. I'm going to put it at 125. This will increase the size of the UI. It doesn't look amazing in menus like this, but in the UI itself, I think it's a nice difference. Opti-Wand view mode. The Opti-Wand is the camera you put under doors to be able to look inside a room before going in. I locked the frame rate of that camera to 20 FPS. It still looks good enough. Opti-Wand resolution scale, this is for the resolution of the camera. I think 60% is good enough to not lose a lot of performance when using it. You can still identify targets, you can still do what you need to do. Same with the helmet camera, if you're looking at a camera from a teammate. Then on the advanced graphics, some stuff has changed. So texture quality is still on low because it uses a lot of VRAM, especially on bigger levels. Shadows, we can now put them on medium instead of high and not get that awful pixelated effect. You can even put them on low if you wanted to. Let me see, we're at 54. Yeah, it barely makes an improvement, so I keep them on medium. Post-process quality, medium is fine. Anti-aliasing on medium, VFX quality on low. I'm going to explain this in a moment. Ambient occlusion on medium, reflections as well, and biodistance. Reflection quality is a new option actually. This was mixed with VFX quality, so if you put VFX on low, you also lose screen space reflections. Keeping this on medium actually gives you the most basic screen space reflections, it doesn't remove them. Low though does remove the reflections, so keep that in mind. Biodistance on medium is good. On high, we already get a performance hit in bigger maps. Then when it comes to bounce light, enabled, it was fine. Per object shadows, this is shadows for your own character and for foliage. This is a huge performance hit. Then world decals, enable at 100%. FSR3, it's a new thing, so quality FSR3, at least for now, seems good enough. And that's basically it. So very quickly, let me show you per object shadows. So if we have it on disabled, like we're doing right now, if you look down, there's no shadows, at least for the character. There's a few pouches floating in the air. Also, the gun doesn't have shadows onto it. It has some small shadows close to the arm. But then if you look down, not even your teammates have shadows, although if you use a flashlight, they do cast shadows. When it comes to shadows from other sources that are not the flashlights, it does lose those shadows. So if you apply the settings with that, you have your own shadows. Your other teammates cast shadows as well, even from other light sources that are not the sun. And also your gun casts your own shadow onto it. I mean, for immersion is fine. I think for the Steam Deck, we can get over that option. If you want to use it, maybe use balanced FSR. But I think realistically, if you're playing this game, you want a higher frame rate, so this helps quite a bit. And when it comes to VFX quality, as you can see, that thing is on fire, that ban. But with the VFX on low, it takes quite a bit of time, quite a bit of distance to actually be visible. And it's not a very aggressive fire. But if you increase the VFX to, I don't know, maybe epic or high, let's put it on high for the VFX. As you can see, there's way more particles here. There is a higher rate of effects going on, and if you put it on Epic, there is even more. So I think it's a good sacrifice to have, at least in my opinion, not a big deal. VFX quality on low doesn't turn off reflections anymore, so they separated those options, same with shadows. So I'm very happy with the changes, and per object shadows now also, as I showed you, affects individual stuff about shadows, so no longer lowering shadows is a big deal, in my opinion. One other thing I think is worth mentioning is texture quality on low. I think it looks fine with low textures. Some stuff though really has a sacrifice when it comes to texture quality, especially the guns. It's hard to tell sometimes, but at the side of the of the site, there's a few stickers. It doesn't have great texture quality, so some stuff will be low res, but it really helps in bigger maps that have a lot of stuff in them. Well, some stuff, yeah, I mean, I think it could pass up as medium textures in other games, but it was a big issue in the past, which I love that they now have better quality textures even on low. At the beginning, as you can see, performance is bad and textures don't load properly. Wait a few seconds. And is it loaded? I think so. So performance gets more stable. In this case, we're using, again, quality FSR3, but you don't, in my opinion, you don't need to keep it at quality. You can also use balance like I recommended in the previous video. But as you can probably notice here, if you look at the GPU usage, the GPU is at 90% and upper 80s, and the frequency of the GPU doesn't hit anywhere close 15 or 1600 MHz. That's because in this part in particular, when looking at this section, we're CPU bound. It also happens on my PC. It's a specific level issue. As you can see there, the CPU spiked. Let me turn on the flashlights. Turning on flashlights is also a performance hit because they cast shadows no matter what, and your teammates also turn them on. So that's pretty funny. So this part is where I had the most performance issues. So yeah, all this is on purpose to show you the worst case scenario. This has always been an issue. But I guess older level has that problem. But it's pretty insane in my opinion that all the flashlights cast shadows, even if the per object shadow thing is disabled.
Moving. Opening on the right. Police, don't move. Drop it and get down.
Drop your gun! But as you can see, this part is very, very CPU limited. No matter what I did. Apart from the maps that I unlocked by playing the game, there's also the Home Invasion and Dark Waters DLC, which feature 3 maps each. And, well, if you're playing campaign like me, actually you'll have to finish all the ready or not levels to access the other ones. If you're playing multiplayer, like I did quite a few times, you get all the levels from the get-go, which I think is a great thing, because they don't force you to finish all of them. So let's jump into other maps. Okay, another one of the other maps. This is a gas station. It's loading in.
The suspects are refusing to come out or
I think it loaded. Good. This one loaded up pretty quickly, actually. Okay.
Lead to talk. Civilian is alive but unresponsive.
Okay, civilian is alive.
notifying Tim.
For obvious reasons, but it's like God left us.
But as you can see, the game runs way better in this level. Ooh. Yeah, it was pretty easy to see that I was going to get shot. But once the AI engages, which can be pretty aggressive, we get CPU bound. Again, the GPU doesn't get fully utilized. To balance FSR3, just to experiment a little. Maybe it helps. I don't think it will, but here we are.
Provide support on me.
Okay. For how to tell them to get down. I don't know the button to tell them to get down.
Drop it! Don't run! Drop the fucking gun! Drop the weapon and get down!
Again, this is my first time playing with actual gamepad support.
On the ground. LSPD, don't move!
Actually, balance FSR is not so bad.
LSPD,
But disregard my previous comment on the FPS cap. Lock it to 40.
Chem light. I got it.
We're CPU limited. This is a shame, but hey, what can you do?
Civilian, ready to go. Doc,
Although I remember this map running better, actually. Open that gate. Sorry, that door.
Post up and cover the area.
getting into position.
See if the door is locked. Let's turn on the flashlights just to decrease performance.
Unlocked.
Unlocked. So, breach with C2 and clear with flashbang.
Post up.
Execute.
Go.
Explosive ready.
And with the flashlights off, you get a few extra frames.
Deploying explosive.
There was an explosive in the door. I had to do it, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, everybody died except me. PTSD unlocked. Oh, this also casts shadows, cool. Come on. Also, before the shield actually dropped frames due to the transparent texture in front, they seem to have fixed that as well. Next level, because without my teammates, it actually becomes way easier to, on the CPU especially, and on the GPU because they don't cast shadows with the flashlights. So this level runs better than the first one that I showed you. But it helps when my teammates are dead, basically. Alright, this is another map, but this one is more of a closed environment.
Secure the area and stay alert.
So it should be technically less demanding. But as you can see, the CPU is still limiting us. I wouldn't say, yeah, it's basically CPU bound still. So I'm not sure if they improve the AI to a point that the CPU just decides to die. But it's definitely more demanding on the CPU side.
Suspect is incapacitated.
Lead, this is Talk.
But I think the biggest thing for the Steam Deck here is that we actually got gamepad support, which was the biggest limitation to play this game on Steam Deck, in my opinion. You needed to use custom layouts, it was an absolute pain in the ass.
Post up and cover.
Moving into place.
So yeah. They also separated the options in the graphics settings way better than in the past, so
Move in and clear it.
I'm on it.
I think they're doing a great job.
Opening on the right.
It was a long time coming to have that gamepad support.
Nothing here, sir.
So along with those improvements, we got the DLC
Nothing here.
and all that. I also forgot to show you battery life, so with unlocked frame rates like I'm doing right now,
Cover the area. Moving up. Open the door.
it's not going to be a long battery. If you're on the OLED, it will be 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes. And if you're on the LCD, it's probably going to be an hour and a half. So again, just lock it to 40 or 45. I would say 40s for most people.
I got nothing here. Good here.
Since we're CPU bound and we drop into a 30s sometimes. So I would open this menu. You can also look it to 45 if you want to. Like this. But it doesn't stay there consistently. But when it comes to battery life, it'll improve things. Maybe an extra 30 minutes of battery. This is the DLC, Home Invasion and Dark Waters. This is the newest one. So let's get into one of the new ones. This one looks like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 map, so let's get into it. Let's start with the, in the helipad. Okay, we're loading the assets.
Taking refuge in the area and are refusing to cooperate.
Come on,
Move in, remember your arms,
there we go.
and secure the area.
So it loaded. In this case, the CPU should suffer less because I don't have teammates. I'm playing multiplayer. So if I play in the campaign, you need to finish every mission in the main campaign in order to access these ones. But again, since I played most of the levels in multiplayer with other people, despite that though, it's still CPU limited. So yeah, as I was saying, 45 is a good way to put it, but it's not perfect. So 40 makes more sense in my opinion. I had to adjust the camera because otherwise 40 Hz looks horrible. But I think it will be in general more stable, even if you're on the OLED Steam Deck. I'll highly recommend that you log it to 40 instead of 45. 45, I mean, again, would be cool. But at the same time, it's just too unstable. Especially when it comes to the CPU limitation. Bomb? No bomb. Get down! Down!
You're gonna be okay.
Okay. Got a civilian. But as you can see, the frame times and the FPS in general looks way more stable.
Roger, trailers inbound.
We're still dropping into the 30s, so if you want it to be 100% stable, maybe lock it to 30. I think 40 is good enough. Especially again due to the CPU limitation. But in the past, this wasn't much of a problem. I think they changed the AI to a point that it just gets the CPU to be crying for help, basically. But again, I'll probably put it at 40. The thing is, again, that CPU limitation. Just look at that GPU usage. I think it's pretty obvious. So again, choose the X12 for this one. When it comes to CPU performance, it's way better than the X11. Yeah, I mean, the X11 is just even worse when it comes to the stutters when there is a CPU limitation, which happens each time AI is doing something, which again is the point of the game. Well, personally, I'll keep it at 40 because I just like how it looks. I don't mind those drops into the 30s when engaging the enemy. The best solution if you want to play it consistently is to lock it at 30 FPS, and that's basically it. That should be the most stable in general. Would I recommend ready or not on Steam Deck? I mean, visually, I think it holds up pretty well. Lowering the settings further than this, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. Just because of the fact that performance stays there due to the CPU limitation, which is a shame, in my opinion. But I will play it on Steam Deck if I didn't mind either playing at 30 or at 40 with drops when engaging with AI. So that's probably a very big subset of the player base that don't like to play like that. But considering it's portable, I think it's acceptable. It's just temporary expectations. It's running worse than before. So it kind of breaks my heart that on the CPU side is the limitation now. It used to be more of a GPU limitation. But at the same time, I'm very happy that we got actual gamepad support with the prompts on screen, better UI, all that, and way more levels. This game has an insane amount of levels now. So I'm pretty happy with what they're doing with the development. But overall, yeah, looks good on Steam Deck, drops below 40 when engaging the enemy, which sucks. And a 30 FPS cap should be the best solution if that bothers you. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys!